There's been a lot of skepticism surrounding the new Final Fantasy game, Strangers of Paradise Origin. I believe that's the name. But while there are some questionable aspects to the game, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of having a good time playing it. Let me show you why. Before I start anything, I just want to give a huge shout out to Square Enix for sending me a free copy of the game. I really do appreciate it, and without them, this video wouldn't even be here, so thank you. To make things easy, I'm just going to break the game down into a few sections and let you know how each section will impact your experience on the game, depending on what you're looking for. And what better way to start than with the story? You know how I mentioned there's some questionable aspects of the game? The story is definitely one of them, and this is quite a ridiculous game, honestly. I'm sure you've seen some cutscenes of Jack saying some very strange things and doing some very strange things. But you know, that's the funny thing about this game. I feel as though it has some kind of charm to it. Not in a good way, but also not in a too much of a bad way, at least for me personally. I don't really get upset about things like this. I know it's not good technically, but it's like if some aspects of the game can carry the game over, then that's fine. But yeah, it's unlike what you would expect from a Final Fantasy game, because usually you'd expect, you know, a very nice, very well written story with some colorful and interesting characters that you can really fall in love with in the game. But yeah, this game doesn't have any of that, so unfortunately that's just not possible. The story is pretty much just enough to get you over the line, and it's heavily carried by the gameplay. Now this part of the game is where everything gets good for me personally. I feel as though it's fast, fluid. You can really tell it's a Team Ninja game. If you didn't know, again, they're the same developers who made Neo and the Ninja Gaiden series. This does feel very much like Neo in the sense that this game is a Souls-like game. So you do have sort of a set map. You have to go through it and you defeat the enemies. You have these save points, which are just the resting points. And then once you rest at those areas, it revives all the enemies in the area. And it also does have this similar kind of finishes that Ninja Gaiden 3 has. Not the same animations or anything like that, but you know how you can down an enemy and then they're vulnerable and you can finish them off. Pretty sure Neo has that last time I remember playing it. But yeah, there's a lot of customization. You can choose from various different jobs because this is a Final Fantasy game after all. Then from there, those jobs can branch off into more advanced jobs that have different skills to them that you can add to your character, and also a whole new skill tree for you to add a lot more moves to your weapons and add more what they call commands. And these are sort of universal skills that you could apply to your character that either give you some buffs or can diversify your mobility options, which is really cool. I've been playing around with a few of them so far, and there's a lot more to choose from. So if you're the kind of person who can really delve deep into the combat aspect of an action RPG, then this game really does speak to players like you and me, because I'm the same way. There is also ways to make combos as well, because you can freely switch between two different classes. You can set two at the same time. I know there's a lot of weapons, but you know, they've limited to being able to cycle between two during combat. And what you can do is you can use either a skill of yours or a skill that you can steal from an enemy, which is mainly magic most of the time, but there's some kind of rock throwing skill as well and stuff like that. But once you activate those skills, you can actually instantly switch into the other class and sort of dash forward, and then you can continue the combo with a new weapon, do a skill, and then switch back into the other weapon. And you can see how, you know, you can formulate some really cool combos using that. So yeah, that's got me occupied with the game, and that's really been my main focus playing it, just trying to see what I can do and what I can put together. And I think that's where the fun lies in this game. So if you're, again, the kind of player who's really interested in something like that, then this is definitely for you. If you're only in for gameplay, this game is still playable for you. you can jump in and have a good time, and that's about it on the gameplay front. It's really fun, and the only other thing to talk about really is the graphics and performance. On my end, I have been having some performance issues, not particularly with the game with bugs and stuff like that, but just with the game slowing down and so the frame rate at certain points. I tried to verify if it's my own PC, but it's definitely not. It's definitely the game. There's areas where you fight a lot of enemies. If there's a lot of enemies around and you do a finisher on them, it does slow the game down, like in slow motion, not as in it gets choppy. It's really weird. And I even tried to play the game in 120 frames, which should be possible, but in certain areas, the game just goes into slow motion, which I didn't quite understand. But anyway, Uh, that happens some of the time. I think it definitely does perform better in more closed off areas, which is most of the game anyway. Definitely a game that you probably want to play on PC if you have the ability to do so, and on PS5. As for PS4, I remember playing the demo on PS4, and on the performance mode the game looks horrible. It's terrible. And then if you do on the resolution mode, then the game drops to 30 frames, and that's not too much of a good time, especially in a game like this where it really leans towards that fast fluid gameplay. You want to play at 60 frames plus. It's not really that great of an experience. Graphics wise, the game looks, it's passable. It's not really anything special, nor does it look terrible. The textures are okay. It basically makes a pass in its unique environment. I say unique environment, it's not really that unique. There's dungeons and there's a foresty area, and they look pretty okay, especially when they got a lot of effects going on. But yeah, it's nothing to write home about, because it does look like the developers were rushed to finish this game, because there are some questionable parts where even the subtitles and the voicing and what the characters are doing doesn't even line up.
ジャックの旦那、すっかり噂だぜ。明日神殿に行くんだってな。だったらうちに泊まっていくだろ。ああ。
So it seems as though they really piled on all their efforts into the gameplay, and then everything else was just left last minute. So all in all, this game for me, it was surprising in the fact that, well, not surprising particularly for me, because I can see these kind of games from a mile away, and I know there's an aspect to it I can enjoy there. But for anybody else, if you're like me and you like stupid, crazy, over-the-top games that have some, fun gameplay in them, then this game, could be some fun for you. Will I say at full price? Probably not. You want to wait for it to be to go on sale first before anything. But again, I'd say if you buy the game anyway on a discount, you're gonna have somewhat of a good time at least. But for everyone else looking for an actual Final Fantasy game with some great story and cool characters, yeah, you're probably not gonna enjoy this game, to be very honest with you. And yeah, it's gonna be a skip. Again, thanks to Square Enix for sending me a free copy of the game to play. I'm gonna, after this, keep playing the game, because I'm actually having a good time playing it, and see how far I can get. Let me know in the comment sections what you think about this game. If you've played the demo, or if you actually have the game now. I should release this video before it comes out. But yeah, if you watch this video after the game has come out and you want to, speak your mind about the game, let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video and you haven't already, please hit the like button. It really does help out. I know a lot of YouTubers say it, but it actually really does help out. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.